2016 is drawing to a close, and the past year can only be described as unexpected. Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Kristina McNeil, and tonight we revisit the major events and stories that captured the hearts and minds of Bahamians. 2016 saw triumphant highs contrast with devastating lows, but through it all, crime and politics dominated headlines and daily debates among the country's citizens near and far. This is our News 2016 Year in Review. The Bahamas entered 2016 in the shadow of a new murder record set in 2015, earning it the label as the most deadly year in Bahamian history. The murder count in the country surpassed 100 for the fifth consecutive year. At the start of 2016, violent crime continued to threaten Bahamian society, and just 3 days into the new year, criminals and police were already hard at work.
Just 3 days into the new year, and already 3 people have died as a result of violence. In the latest killing, police say local business owner Michael D'Angelo Bethel, his wife, and several others were ambushed near Montague Beach by gunmen this morning. Head of the Central Detective Unit, Chief Superintendent Paul Roll, said Bethel was shot along with 3 others at around 4 this morning, not too long after his business closed.
What we understand is that these individuals were driving in their Dodge Caravan vehicle, and they stopped at the traffic light at Village Road and East Bay Street, just in the front of the Montague Beach, and persons pulled up alongside them in a vehicle and exited, began discharging shots.
Violent crime, including murder, armed robbery, sexual assault, rape, and burglary were on the Commissioner of Police's radar, and as he laid out his policing plan for 2016, Ellison Greenslade admitted that the current level of crime was unacceptable.
Reductions were seen in a number of categories of serious crimes in 2015. However, crime figures are much too high, still much too high, and there remains a high level of public concern over the record number of murders committed in 2015. Closely allied with this concern is the fact that over 79% of murders committed in 2015 were committed with an illegal firearm. This is against a backdrop where firearms are illegal in the Bahamas. As a result, I have determined that efforts to reduce gun violence, the reduction of crime, and the reduction of the fear of crime will remain the principal priorities for 2016.
Crime was indiscriminate, affecting every branch of society.
The 78-year-old Rotarian is clinging to life in hospital after a gunman broke into his West Bay Street home early Saturday morning and shot him 5 times.
A senseless killing. That's how police are describing the cold-blooded murder of a man while using the ATM early this morning. Assistant Commissioner of Police Stephen Dean says it was around 8 a.m. on a rainy Sunday that police received the call, and when they arrived at the Scotiabank on the corner of Jerome Avenue and Wolf Road, they found the man's bullet-riddled body on the ground.
The information is preliminary now. Our detectives are on the ground. We're trying to determine exactly what happened. We don't have no motive. We suspect that it might be robbery.
Police find the lifeless body of a male in this abandoned building right here off Sumner Street. Police say the body was crammed into a suitcase and appears to have not been there for more than 24 hours.
Lifeless with injuries to the body. He was in a large suitcase with injuries to the body. We don't know the nature at this time. EMS personnel was dispatched and they confirmed that he was dead.
In the first 4 months of 2016, the murder count was on pace with last year's count. But by May, murder began trending downward. In July, there were no recorded murders, something the Commissioner of Police was proud to report.
There is a God in the heavens, and we are going to be able to report to you very soon about crime statistics and what has happened for the year in review. We have indeed turned the corner. This month was a rather difficult month. October was a rather difficult month for us after a significant lull in serious crimes. Our numbers are significantly down in all categories of crime. I do have some concerns. I'm going to be very careful how I speak to it this evening, but I do have some concerns because we're fighting uphill and we're working extremely hard. But we need everybody to be on the same page. But we're going to keep trying. We're going to keep working. and I think I'd better leave it right there for now.
For the first 8 months in 2016, murders in the Bahamas decreased by 32% between January 1st and August 28, 2016, compared to the same period in 2015. However, by November, bullets began flying again and the death toll continued to rise.
Shortly after 7 this morning, police received information of a man found dead in a vehicle. That's just east of the Montague ramp on East Bay. When police arrived on the scene, they met the lifeless body of a male with apparent gunshot wound to the body.
Police are on the scene here at a popular hangout called the Sad Trap, where the country's latest murder has just taken place, and police say they are now launching an island-wide investigation. Some 25 crime scene markers surrounded the lifeless body of a woman who became the country's latest murder victim just after 8 p.m. last night. Assistant Commissioner of Police Stephen Dean says they are now searching for those responsible for these shootings.
A number of persons were out here having a social event when the occupants of a vehicle pulled up and fired several shots and sped off.
Police stepped up their special operations in response, arresting 40 people in a raid near the Sand Trap on West Bay Street in November. It took police more than 2 hours to round up 2 busloads of West Bay Street residents they want to question in connection to suspected drug trafficking and conspiracy to commit murder, among other criminal activities. Senior Assistant Commissioner Leon Bethel says the entire police force mobilized for the raid based on tips and police surveillance.
Decent people in this country are fed up with criminality all over this country. This is one of the areas that we decided that we'll target because of the amount of criminal activities that we have identified.
On December 12th, the murder count for the year hit 100 as a woman was found stabbed to death in her Stapleton Gardens home. As 2016 draws to a close, police are still seeking the solutions to crime in the country. Law enforcement and the executive branches of government have pledged to fight crime from the root, to reduce and eliminate the fear of crime and its effect on society. However, they all agree that the fight for a safe Bahamas is one that must be waged together to stay one step ahead of criminal elements in the Bahamas. The drama that's been plaguing the F&M for years now continued through 2016. Internal bickering, tensions, and a battle for leadership marked the first half of the year, while the end of the year saw a shocking revolt and questions about the future of the Free National Movement. Dana Smith has the details in this report. Meanwhile, the Progressive Liberal Party is facing leadership challenges of its own heading into the next general election. Prime Minister Perry Christie's leadership is expected to be challenged from within the party by former Attorney General and Fort Charlotte candidate Alfred Sears. However, the PLP has not had a convention since 2009 and has yet to finalize a date for that national convention after postponing it back in November. Well, it has been quite a year for the Free National Movement, which found itself pulled into a spiraling plot starring Togi and Bobo, 2 names that would become well known over the course of the year. Jasmine Brown takes a closer look. You're watching our News 2016 Year in Review. Welcome back. Residents on New Providence, Andros, and Grand Bahama are still recovering from Hurricane Matthew, a massive hurricane that threatened to send the nation's capital into chaos. Kyle Joaquin takes a look back. From one of the lowest points of the year to one of the biggest celebrations, the Bahamas won big at the 2016 Summer Olympic Games in Rio de Janeiro. Not only did a Bahamian sprinter bring home its 13th Olympic medal and 6th gold medal overall, but a Bahamian rower made history as the first Bahamian to ever participate in the sport of rowing at an Olympic level. This is our News 2016 Year in Review. Welcome back. It's been years in the making, and after a tumultuous year and a half, it appears as if there's a light at the end of the tunnel for the multi-billion-dollar Baha Mar Resort. From West Bay Street to Parliament Square and even the foot of the Sir Sidney Poitier Bridge, thousands of Bahamians demanded action and answers, from landfill fires to equal rights. Our Simone Davis takes a look back at some of the major demonstrations that captured the nation in 2016. Welcome back to our News 2016 Year in Review. It was 14 years in the making, and in 2016, the nation's premier tertiary institution became the University of the Bahamas. We take a look back at the road to university. For years, you have known us here as NB12, but in March 2016, that changed with the introduction of Our News and Our TV. It's the first change for the channel since Cable 12 was launched 18 years ago. The evening of March 31st, 2016 was unforgettable.
Welcome to Our News. I'm Dana Smith. Thanks so much for joining us.
Our news anchor Dana Smith was the first to present on the new $1.5 million set. Not only was news presented in HD, but the launch of Our News ushered in an era of training with an Emmy Award-winning team of producers and set designers. Thank you for joining us for Our News 2016 Year in Review. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Kristina McNeil. We're wishing you a safe and prosperous new year.